When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information.
Attorney General Pam Bondi is very much Donald Trump's Attorney General, which is not how that position is supposed to work. But as much as she was planted in that role to specifically benefit and serve the president, as opposed to the American people, Trump's people, the MAGA crowd is over her. And she's now making weird, sycophantic efforts to win the MAGA crowd back, but more on that later. When the Vanity Fair article featuring a series of interviews from Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, was released to the public, Wiles was not flattering when giving her opinions on Bondi. She specifically criticized Bondi's handling, or rather her bungling, of the Epstein files. Wiles commented on Bondi's attempts to release some files to the public through right-wing social media influencers in a very misguided effort to appease and placate a very passionate portion of the electorate, including the MAGA electorate. Wiles said, "I think she completely whiffed on appreciating that that was the very targeted group that cared about this. First, she gave them binders full of nothingness, and then she said that the witness list or the client list was on her desk. There is no client list, and it sure as hell wasn't on her desk." Ever since the Vanity Fair article came out, Bondi has been battling rumors of her own imminent release from her position. So far, nothing has come from those rumors, but apparently Trump himself is now facing pressure to fire Pam Bondi from his biggest MAGA supporters. 10 months after appointing Bondi as the nation's top justice official, the president is closing out the year with conservative influencers and supporters accusing her of failing to deliver justice on everything from the Epstein files to the so-called Russiagate saga to the January 6th committee members and Trump's deep state enemies. And to that January 6th point, the statute of limitations is about to expire to prosecute the House members who sat on the Select Committee because, if you can believe it, it's been nearly 5 years since that very strange day in our history. And MAGA had managed to make themselves the victims in their own minds, and they want representatives like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney thrown in jail for their interests in seeking justice against the people who broke into our Capitol and defecated on its walls. An Assistant Attorney General, Harmeet Dillon, posted on X in Bondi's defense, emphasizing that January is not a deadline for prosecutions and that the influencers spreading this BS, as she put it, were hoes. She literally said, "You are hoes." It's just a little ironic when the MAGA crowd is tired of waiting for people to be held accountable for their actions as they continue to deny and defend every crime their beloved president has ever been accused and even found guilty of. I suppose justice is in the eye of the beholder, and I will never see or experience the world the way that this particular group of people does. And personally, I don't care whether or not she's let go. If she is, she'll just be replaced by someone who is worse than her. Remember, the original appointment was supposed to go to Matt Gaetz. But again, just a reminder to everyone, the Attorney General is supposed to serve the Constitution and the American people, not the president himself. But these are not normal times, and this is not a normal administration. And if the Attorney General is supposed to be nonpartisan, Pam Bondi never got the memo. Perhaps in an effort to win back some goodwill with MAGA, Bondi made a post on X celebrating President Trump's great achievements in office, specifically his war on drugs. However, the post backfired on her in a very big way and has since been taken down. Not only was the post stupid, it was especially stupid coming from someone who is supposed to be one of the top legal minds in the country. She said, "Since day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to end the drug epidemic in our country. President Trump closed the border. DOJ agents have seized hundreds of millions of potentially lethal fentanyl doses. We are aggressively prosecuting drug traffickers and cartel leaders. These are the results Elections have consequences. Electing President Trump and enforcing the law is saving lives. And to that post, to really drive her point home with some evidence, she attached a chart. And if you look at the chart, you will see a steep decline in drug overdose deaths across the entire country. The problem is the data in the chart documents deaths from October 2015 to October 2024. It literally says so right at the top of that chart. Trump wasn't president in October 2024, so the steep decline from 2023 to 2024 that Bondi was celebrating on that chart was, according to Bondi's logic, thanks entirely to Joe Biden. And you would think that as an attorney general, she would pay closer attention to details like that, especially when those details undermine the entire point she is trying to make. In response, Representative Ted Lieu said, "The chart you provided ends in October 2024. Thank you for unintentionally giving massive credit to Joe Biden. Also, when are you going to stop violating federal law and provide the unredacted Epstein files?" When Bondi removed her post, Lieu followed up his original tweet saying this, "LOL, the truth hurts. Pam Bondi was glazing Trump again with another lying, sycophantic tweet, but the chart she attached stopped in October 2024, thus showing the great work done by Joe Biden." She later deleted her tweet. And of course, he attached a screenshot of the now deleted tweet from Bondi. And on top of that, while Bondi was trying to give credit to Trump for something that he did not do, Trump and his policies could actually reverse some of the wins from the Biden administration when it comes to overdose deaths. This, by the way, is coming from the president who pretends to be so against drugs in this country that he is illegally about to go to war with Venezuela and, I don't know, maybe even also Colombia, while constantly pardoning drug lords. He's almost at 90 drug-related pardons between his first and second terms in office, including the former Honduran president who trafficked hundreds of tons of cocaine into the United States. So from the Daily Beast, healthcare professionals worry that the gains made at the end of Biden's term, which amount to a 27% reduction in overdose deaths, are at risk because of Trump's signature spending bill, which cut $1 billion from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Agency, NPR reported in June. Also, Health Secretary RFK Jr., he has laid off more than 30% of the staff from that same agency with the ultimate goal of dissolving the agency altogether. And what it is that they can't actually fix the drug problem in this country, because what would they then use as their excuse to, one, tariff the entire globe, or pirate ships and boats in the Caribbean and Pacific, and kill innocent people, and coup yet another country in Latin America, especially a country that happens to just have a ton of oil? Trump needs the drug crisis because a significant portion of his presidency cannot function without it. Whether or not he needs Pam Bondi the same way, though, let's just say that her job feels a little bit less safe. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.